Hi, welcome back to our channel. We regularly upload interesting videos on different stories. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy it. Today we will discuss a 2008 drama romance movie called Slumdog Millionaire. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. 18-year-old Jamal Malik is detained for questioning and tortured by Mumbai police. He is suspected of cheating on the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire prior to being detained. The show's host, Prem Kumar, introduces the young, uneducated Jamal to the audience, telling them that Jamal works as a chaiwala at an Indian call center. The police inspector arrives at the police station after Jamal has been tortured overnight and has still not confessed to cheating. Police Constable Srinivas attaches a battery to Jamal's toes, attempting to shock a confession from him when Jamal regains consciousness. He tells the inspector that he knew the answers to the questions through a series of flashbacks. Jamal recounts the incidents in his life that provided him with each answer. 5 years old. Jamal lives in the slums of Mumbai and plays cricket with his older brother Salim and their friends on the airport runway. The police arrived on motorcycles brandishing their batons and followed the children as they chased them away. Jamal and Salim run through the streets to evade the police. They reach a parked car where they see the crime boss Java Khan. For the first time the brothers arrived late for their lessons and their teacher hits them over the head with a novel The Three Musketeers written by Alexander Dumas. Back at the police station, Constable Srinivasan, the inspector, watched the footage of the show and wait for Jamal to explain how he arrived at the correct answers on the show. Kumar explains to Jamal that there are 3 lifelines to assist him. The first question he asks is who was the star in the 1973 hit film Janitor. Jamal remembers a childhood incident, answers the question correctly to win 1,000 Indian rupees. As 5-year-old Jamal sits in the pit toilet, he sees a helicopter fly overhead as the crowd shouts that the Bollywood star Amitabh Bachchan has arrived. Salim places a chair against the pit toilet door from the outside, locking Jamal inside. He looks through the wooden slats and sees the crowd run towards the helicopter as it lands. Jamal reaches into his pocket for a photo and decides to jump down through the pit into the sewage. He stands up, covered in feces with a photo safely in his outstretched hand, and runs towards the crowds. Jamal pushes his way through the crowd and hands the photo to the Bollywood star. Salim watches his only top autographs the photo and hands it back to Jamal at home while he is being scrubbed clean by his mother. Salim takes his autograph and sells it in the present at the police station. The captain continues to watch the show rerun with Jamal's options for question 2. On the show, Jamal decides to use a lifeline to ask the audience. The captain ridicules his intelligence. The audience answers correctly and Jamal wins 4,000 Indian rupees. Question 3 for 16,000 Indian rupees is based on God, Rama, and what he holds in his right hand. In a flashback to his childhood, Jamal and Salim play in the river while their mother washes clothes. She notices a group of armed men approaching the boys' watch as she is killed in the ensuing riot, leaving them alone in the chaos. As the brothers run away to safety, they see Rama standing in front of him, holding a bow and arrow in his right hand. Jamal answers the question correctly, winning 16,000 rupees. The audience applauds. Lovely Jamal and Salim take shelter from the rain away from the burning slum. A small girl in a yellow dress has been following them and stands alone in the downpour. Jamal calls Latika to join them and introduces himself and Salim to her back on the show. Kumar asks Jamal the 4th question about a song written by a famous Indian poet. Jamal remembers that after Latika had joined them, she was digging through the landfill waste, hoping to find anything of use. She tried to alert Jamal as a yellow van from the orphanage arrived at the site. 2 men approached the makeshift tent where the brothers are sleeping. Woman wakes the boys and offers them a bottle of coke each. He is a gangster who trained ST children to become beggars. Jamal is excited to travel with Latika and Salim to the orphanage where they see other children playing. Woman watches them as the hungry children sit at the table, eating and chatting amongst themselves. The new intake of children are lined up and told to sing. Salim gets very angry when everyone laughs at his effort. Mulan smiles as Salim tries to attack his henchmen. Jamal and Latika watched from the van as Salim walks through the group of orphans asserting his newfound authority. Malone is training him to teach the children how to beg. Salim takes a baby from a young girl and hands it to Latika, insisting that she take the baby. He tells her that she will earn triple by holding a crying baby when she begs. The group of orphan children are then sent to the streets to beg. Moan listens to a young boy singer. Salim stands in the shadows watching them. The boy struggles as he is chloroformed and then dragged away towards a burning lamp. Moon plans to blind the children as a blind beggar brings in more money for him than an able-bodied one. A man slowly heats a spoon of hot oil over the flame. He pours the oil into the child's eyes. Salim turns away in. Comet Salim hesitates when Mona orders him to collect her mom. He eventually runs to find his brother Jamal and Latika sit talking on the steps. He tells her if my mom likes his singing, they will be rich and live in a big house together with Salim. There will be the three musketeers. Salim calls Jamal. The Madika follows behind as they walked. The brothers called themselves Athos and Porthos, who are two of the characters in the novel. The Three Musketeers moment is waiting and tells Jamal to sing the devotional song. Darshan du Ghansham as Jamal begins to sing. Salim runs forward throwing the chloroform into the henchman's face. The men chased the three children, who escape and run towards the train station. The brothers successfully board the moving train, but Latika is unable to keep up. Salim grabs her hand as she runs along the platform, but purposefully lets go of it, lying to Jamal that Latika had let go. She is recaptured by Man as the train speeds away. Jamal wants to get off the train to save her. Salim refuses, saying she will be fine. He explains to Jamal that money intended to blind him in the present at the game show. Jamal gives the correct answer for the name of the poet who wrote the song, winning 250,000 rupees. Salim and Jamal traveled the country on the trains. Jamal still thinks about Latika, and Salim tells him to let it go. The brothers make a living by selling boots to the travelers as they continue across the country. A few years passed by and the brothers reached the Taj Mahal, which is considered to be the finest example of Mughal architecture and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. After joining tour groups, gaining knowledge, they each steal a pair of shoes left outside by the tourists before they are allowed to enter the Taj Mahal. Two tourists approach Jamal thinking he is a tour guide and pay him well. Jamal then shows an American couple of tourist sites in Uttar Pradesh while Salim organizes the street gangs to strip the couple's parked car, this show for beats and kicks. Jamal hears classical music in the distance while he washes his face in the river. After being beaten, he climbs the scaffolding of the seating for the audience during the concert and steals the ladies' handbags. Jamal pauses to watch the opera and sadly remembers Latika as she stood alone on the platform. In present time, Prem Kumar continues with the next question on the show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? He asks her mom which American president features on the $100 bill. He replies that the answer is Benjamin Franklin as he sits at the police station. The police constable questions him again as to how he knew the correct answer in 1 million Indian rupees. Jamal explains that he returned to Bombay with Salim to search night and day for Latika. No one recognized his description of her, or had seen her. Jamal walks through the subway, and hears a blind boy singing. He stops to give him $100 bill. The beggar asked him whose face is on the bill and Jamal describes Benjamin Franklin to him. The boy Arvind recognizes Jamal's voice and tells him to be careful of Marty. Arvind says that Latika is alive and lives on Peel Saint. She is now called Cherry. Jamal thanks him and leaves. Salim and Jamal continue to search the streets and alleys for Latika. A woman they meet makes a call and shows the brothers where to go. They burst into a room where Latika is dancing and start to pack her bags. As they turn to leave, Man and his henchmen arrive at the door. He asked them if they really thought they would get away with Latika, his prized possession. Salim pulls out a gun and orders Mamando his knees, demands money and then shoots him back on the show. Kumar asks Jamal who invented the revolver. He replies correctly that it was Samuel Colt, winning 2.5 million rupees. In a flashback, Salim leaves the hotel room they ran to after shooting him and he goes looking for Javed, their crime boss. He draws his gun and tells Javad's henchman that he killed Mama. Javad walks up behind Salim and tells him he has been looking for someone like Salim to join his organization in the hotel room. Jamal tells Latika that he had never forgotten her, and it was their destiny to be together. Salim arrives back at the room and tells Latika to go with him, ordering Jamal to get out. As Jamal shouts in the passage, Salim opens the door with a gun pointed at his brother, saying the man with the Colt 45 says, "Shut up, Letik." It comes to the door and quietly asks them all to leave. Salim closes the door in his face. We can only imagine what happens with Latika after the door closes and under the rule of Java the next few years. In present time in custody, the police inspector asks Jamal if he ever saw them again, which he hasn't. Jamal tells him that Latika is the most beautiful woman in the world. Jamal tells the inspector that while he was at work serving tea at the call center, his colleague asked him to sit in for him, briefly, telling him he was on millionaire duty. After Jamal disconnects a call, he searches the center's database for Salim and Latika. Jamal finally connects to Salim, who recognizes his voice, and they arrange to meet in a flashback to the game show. Jamal is asked in which UK city Cambridge Circus is situated by process of elimination. He decides on the City of London. He is correct and wins 5 million Indian rupees. Jamal goes to meet Salim at a high-rise construction site as Salim walks towards him. Jamal punches him and calls him a liar, telling him he will never forgive him. Salim tells Jamal that all the buildings and construction sites on the former slum belonged to Javid Khan. He learns that Salim is a high-ranking lieutenant in Javid's crime organization and confronts him while Jamal is staying at Salim's apartment. He hears Salim pray for forgiveness for his sins before he goes to meet with Java. Jamal lies his way into Java, its residence, to reunite with Latika by pretending to be a dishwasher. Jamal and Latika embrace each other and Jamal tells her, "I found you." She asks him why he is there and he replies to see you. Latika says he sees her. And now what the show? Who wants to be a millionaires on TV? Jamal asks why everyone loves the program. Let Ticket replies that it provides a chance to escape and to walk into another life. Javad arrives home not recognizing Jamal, thinking he is a cook. He demands a sandwich. Jamal quietly asks Latika to leave with him and tells her they will live on love. When he says Salim will help them, she asks why he still believes in Salim. Javid approaches Latika and spits out his sandwich, asking her what is this shit as Jamal leaves. Latika asks him to forget her. He says no one promises he will wait at the VT station at 5 o'clock every day until she joins him. He tells her he loves her. She says it's too late back at the game show. Kumar asks Jamal which cricketer has scored the most first-class centuries in history. He reminds him that he will lose everything with the wrong answer. Jamal remembers a specific cricket game related to the question and thinks of Latika. He hands back the last check tomorrow gave to him, indicating that he wants to continue the game. Jamal arrives at the crowded VT train station at 5:15 and searches for Latika. He sees her on the other side of the train and calls her name. Latika attempts to join him, but she is captured by job headsmen. Led by Salim, Jamal watches her being driven away at knife point during a commercial break. Kumar meets Jamal in the men's room, telling him he will win. Although Jamal says he does not know the answer to the question, he attempts to trick Jamal by writing beyond the mirror before he leaves the room. Jamal joins Kumar back on stage to answer the penultimate question. He decides to use his 50-50 lifeline and the computer removes 2 wrong answers. The question is worth 10 million Indian rupees and he has to choose between options. BND. Jamal chooses D as final answer. It is the correct answer. As Kumar begins to ask Jamal the final question, worth 20 million rupees. Their time is up. They will continue with the show the following evening. Kumar meets Jamal in the passage and walks with him to the exit, where the police are waiting to arrest him off for cheating at the police station. The constable says that after watching the show footage, he finds Jamal's answers and explanation bizarrely plausible. He tells Jamal that he is too truthful to be a liar, and that the investigation is over. As the inspector leaves the room, Jamal tells him that he doesn't know where Java has taken Latika. He tells the inspector after he had lost contact with her, he decided to go on the show as he thought she'd be watching. Latika sees Jamal. Susan turns to see Salim watching. Javid approaches. Salim is deep in thought as he continues to watch the TV. Java changes the show to a music channel and orders the women in the room to dance. Let's See cries as she watches the show in another room. Salim follows her. He hands her his car keys and tells her to leave as there won't be another chance. Javid paces up and down in the passage, talking on his phone. Latika tells Salim that Javid will kill him. When he finds out, Salim says he will take care of him and answer his phone. He apologizes for what he has done to her and asks her forgiveness. Latika picks up her yellow scarf and leaves. Salim wishes her a good life, as Latika makes her get away with the phone on the seat beside her. Salim goes to the bathroom and closes the door behind him. Back at the police station, Constable Srinivas throws a glass of water over Jamal and informs that he is back on the show. Jamal is released and driven through the crowds and the media to rejoin the show. As Jamal arrives at the TV station, he is surrounded by the public who wish him well. Latika makes her way through the crowds in the street towards an electronic shop where she watches the show. Kumar asks Jamal if he is ready for the final question to win 20 million Indian rupees. When Jamal says he is, the audience and the crowds gathered in the streets cheering for the final question. Jamal has asked the name of the third musketeer. He recalls being hit over the head with a book by his teacher. He laughs, remembering when he tried to convince Salim that Latika could be their third musketeer. Jamal uses his phone a friend lifeline to call Charlene. It is the only phone number he knows. Latika is watching the show on one of the TVs in the street and realizes that Celine gave his phone to her before she left. She runs to the car to answer the call. Latika answers and tells Jamal that she is safe, although she does not know the answer Jamal chooses. He is correct. At the same time, Salim sits in a bathtub filled with money waiting for Java and his men to break down the bathroom door. He kills Java. The men killed Salim, who says God is great before he dies. Jamal receives the winner's check for 20 million Indian rupees and leaves for the VT station to wait for Latika. They meet on the platform at the train station and Jamal kisses the scar on her face. He tells Latika it is written that this is their destiny. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Adios.